Hello everyone, Bob here. Today we're going to take a look at a rom-com from the late 90s that I've always enjoyed. It's called Blast from the Past. It stars Brendan Fraser, Alicia Silverstone, Christopher Walken, Sissy Spacek, and Dave Foley. So Christopher Walken is he's a college professor, but he's absolutely paranoid the Russians are going to attack and there's going to be this huge nuclear war. So much so that he builds this massive, and I mean massive, underground complex that serves as a bunker for him and his family in the event that the Russians do attack. So after watching a news story on the with the Cuban Missile Crisis and Kennedy and all that stuff, Calvin is convinced that an attack is coming, so he urges his wife, Sissy Spacek, to come with him, and they all go down into the bunker. And at the same time, unbeknownst to him, straight up in the sky, there is a plane that is having all kinds of trouble, and in a fluke accident, it crashes in their backyard. And he misinterprets the blast and the heat as being from the blast of a nuclear weapon. So he locks all the time. The radiation locks and sets them for 35 years because, of course, radiation has the half-life. And so him and Sissy Spacek are now locked in this bunker for the next 35 years, and she is pregnant with their son. They name their son Adam, and they immerse him in popular culture up to the 1962-ish time frame when they went down into the bunker. They watch all these old reruns. The Sissy Spacek character, the mom, is about to go nuts being down there by herself. Well, she's not by herself, but you know what I mean. She's about to go nuts down there. She's watching the same show on repeat, all this, and they survive as a family unit down in this bunker for the next 35 years, and they raise him. And he tried to understand. He tries to. Sorry, I stuttered there. He tries to explain things to him, like baseball to him and stuff that Adam doesn't quite get because he doesn't see it. But eventually, he does get it when he actually sees it in person later on. But then they talk about stock certificates. This is important for later. He gives him some stock certificates, and he thinks they're worthless now. So he just gives them to Adam. He says, "Sure, they're," because he just thinks they're useless pieces of paper at this point, because he assumes everything's been destroyed up above from the nuclear fallout and the war and all that stuff. Up above, time marches on. Of course, the house is all dozed out. They build like a malt shop and stuff on top of their house. Gradually through the decades, the neighborhood goes down, and of course, all this happens unbeknownst to Christopher Walken, Brendan Fraser, and Sissy Spacek down below, because they, of course, are locked in their bunker. But all this time passes on up above them, and unbeknownst to them, the neighborhood goes south. On the 35th anniversary of when the locks went into place, they release. So Calvin goes up first, and of course he runs into things that you and I wouldn't, we just assume as normal. Well, him being literally locked in the basement for 35 years, it's all foreign to him, and he thinks everybody's mutants. So he thinks they need to set the time locks for a while. Sissy Spacek disagrees. She wants to go up now. Calvin has a stroke or a heart attack. They never really specify which, but he has one of those. So the Sissy Spacek character decides to stay with her husband, and she sends Adam up to get supplies. He meets the Alicia Silverstone character, appropriately named Eve in this case, and she is working there like a sports collectible shop, and Adam goes in to sell off his dad's baseball cards because he realizes the amount of money that his mom gave him is not going to be anywhere near enough. So he takes in these baseball cards, and he's going to sell them for a little bit of nothing, because he has no idea that these are actually rare baseball cards worth thousands and thousands of dollars. And Alicia Silverstone is an employee there. She gets herself fired, but she helps him. She talks him out of selling them to him for dirt cheap. Adam eventually hires Eve to help him, and she thinks he's weird. She consults her housemate, who is Dave Foley, about him. They both think he's kind of weird, but they think he's normal. And then he says something to Eve about taking her back underground with him. She thinks he's weird, so she calls a psychiatrist, and then she kind of rethinks it, and she just doesn't know what to think. And they go back to his hotel room, and they look at all of the like the toothpaste, the stock certificates, everything he's got is like a snapshot of 1962 Americana, so to speak. And they suddenly realize that he's telling the truth. And through pure luck, she runs into him again, and they reconcile. And they go down to the fallout shelter and tell their parents to set the locks for another 2 months. And then they Adam, who has now found out that those stock certificates his dad cast off as worthless, are worth millions upon millions upon millions, because he bought 10,000 shares back in like 1960, and of course they've appreciated for 40 years, plus stock splits, plus all that other stuff, but we're not going to get into that. But anyway, the film ends. Adam has built this new house for his parents. It's almost an exact replica of the one that was there that his parents had, that got destroyed in the plane crash. And Eve has a ring on her finger, and that's pretty much how the film ends. I'm not going to spoil it all for you, but the film plays out kind of like a reverse Back to the Future. Instead of, like, Back to the Future, Marty travels back in time. In this one, and instead of time travel, there you basically are plucking people out of the past and plugging them into a 1990s society. And of course, it lends itself to several humorous moments. It's quite enjoyable. Brendan Fraser does a good job in this film. It's very well acted all the way around. Christopher Walken is typical Christopher Walken. It's a fun film, and I've always enjoyed it. A lot of people don't like it. Critics did not like the film overall. However, Roger Ebert gave it 3 out of 4 stars, and it didn't really perform that well at the box office. On paper, if you looked at it, you compared the worldwide haul from the film versus the budget, you'd think it made money. Of course, with the wonderful world of Hollywood accounting, it didn't. But I really enjoyed the film for what it is. It is definitely a fish out of water story. There's lots of humor, and it is one of the rom-coms that I actually enjoy watching with my wife every little bit. So I'm going to give the film an 8 out of 10. I recommend you give it a shot. Like I said, I know a lot of people really don't care for the film, but I think it's funny, and I really enjoy it. That's all I've got for this video. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like, and please consider subscribing to this channel. I review films and a lot of things that show off parts of my collection. This is a film first channel, and I hope everyone enjoys that. So thank you so much for watching. For now, this is Bob, signing off.